Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest online event here at the University of California, Merced. My name is Ricky Hill, and I am your e-recruiter. Once again, I am here with you with a big cast of friends behind the scenes and one that will be joining me here on screen as well for our great presentation. Tonight, we are so thrilled that you are here to learn more about living and learning at UC Merced and on our beautiful campus. Once again, a big welcome. Before we get started, let me give you a couple of those quick Zoom reminders. In the lower left corner, if you need to make any type of adjustment to your audio settings, you can do that there. If at any point you would like to zoom into your screen a bit more, you can click on View Options in the upper portion of your window. And of course, as always, we are here to get to your questions, so make sure that you take full advantage of that Q&A button that you see on your screen. Go ahead and click that button, type in your question, and as I stated, we have friends behind the scenes who will be getting to those throughout the presentation, and I have a feeling we will have some time at the end of our hour to go ahead and answer some of those questions live and on screen with you. One last tip, we are recording this tonight and we will be making this available as an on-demand instant replay for you in just about a day or two. So we will make sure to drop those links for you over into the chat box. That way you can take a peek and bookmark those and get back to those later. Some of the other on-demand replays that you'll find there are other events that have already happened over the past few weeks or possibly month, as well as all the upcoming events. You will find those later on there as well. Once again, a big welcome to you. My name is Ricky Hill, your e-recruiter, and at this time, we are going to get this party started as I hand things over to my friend, Ange.
Awesome. Thank you, Ricky, for that amazing introduction, and welcome everyone to our webinar tonight that's focusing on living here on campus at UC Merced. My name is Ange Banyas, and I'm the Director of Resident Education here, and I'm very excited to talk to you all about what does it look like to join the Bobcat community, and more importantly, what does it look like to live here on campus? Now, when you're looking about living on campus, it's really about gaining that residential student experience where you have that on-campus support. You're able to, roll out of bed and then walk down, not down the hall, but maybe a few buildings over and be able to have a conversation with your professor or some of your classmates. And so there's a lot of different benefits that come with living on campus that I'll be able to highlight with you. And so if you do have the privilege and the opportunity to live on campus, I always encourage it. There's a lot of other things that happen while you live on campus. One, we also have a residential curriculum. You're probably, what is that? Well, I'll explain in a bit. We have all these different programs and events. So we have living learning communities. And most importantly, you just have direct hands-on access to all of our campus resources. Now, when we're looking towards living on campus here at UC Merced, we actually have 8 different residential communities that encompass 18 buildings in total. Now, when we're looking at those 8 residential buildings, we really divide them into 2 campuses. We have our South Campus, which primarily houses our first and second year students. And then we also have North Campus, which does also house our first and second year students, but also some of our returning students as well. Now, when you're looking at living on campus, it's really important to remember that there's all these different resources and other things, amenities that you have available here on campus. Now, what I love here at UC Merced is that we offer free laundry. Yes, parents, I said that correctly. Free laundry. You still have to do the laundry yourself, right? So loading into the washer and dryer, putting the soap, drying it, folding it, but you don't have to worry about paying any additional costs when it comes to doing your laundry. So that is a free amenity that's accessible to you all. We also have fun things like our outdoor basketball courts. Sometimes we do like rollerblading night in those basketball courts. We have tennis courts, pickleball. I know that's a huge thing right now, as well as you have lounges and game rooms in every single one of those residential buildings that I just talked about. We also have dance rooms. Maybe you're looking to put out a new routine. All these things are going to be accessible to you while you're living on campus. Now, if you're commuting, you also have access to these, but this is going to be right here for you to be able to access here on campus. Other benefits that come with living on campus is the connection and access that we just talked about. It also helps you save time and money. I know sometimes it's really hard to find apartments or housemates to go in with. And so when you're living here on campus, all that is packaged into one deal. And you definitely should talk to your financial aid counselor and look at the different packages that come with that. But it essentially does save you time and money. Now, when you're also looking at it, because you have that access to be able to roll out of bed, go meet with your professor, it also enhances your academic performance. You'll be able to take part in different study groups. You also have our improved safety and security, right? When you work living in the residence halls, you're here on campus. There's our campus PD, and then there's also a professional staff that's here to support you. And one of the other things that's pretty amazing that we have on our campus is the unlimited meal plan, meaning you can swipe as many times as you want here on our campus in any of our dining halls. So you don't have to worry necessarily about food insecurity. And I'll go into that a little bit more about what does that meal plan really look like in a few more slides. Now, in terms of that on-campus support that I was talking about, we actually have a staff of over 100 people who live here on campus, and their main purpose is to make sure that you're able to have a good time, but also that you're able to really grow as an academic student. And so we have full-time staff members known as our resident education coordinators who live here on campus, who serve as your after-hours emergency response team, but really help supervise the RAs and facilitate community development. Now, when I say RAs, I'm talking about our resident assistants who are our student leaders that live on the same floor as you and really just give you that peer-to-peer support, right? Maybe you're looking for a tutor where you can just reach out to your RA and say, hey, I need help with this class. Do you know any good tutors or where to go to find a tutor? There's also able to help communicate with you some of our policies and our procedures. Maybe you have some questions about classes. They're able to assist you with that. Maybe you're someone that really just wants to get involved and also, implement change. We also have something called our RHA, our Resident Hall Association, which is basically like our student government within the residence halls. So you have an opportunity to also be part of that on-campus support and serve in that RHA. Now, at the end of the day, when we're looking at that live on staff or our 100 staff members, they're really just there to live alongside you and help you with that transition from wherever you were before, whether it was a high school or a different college, to living at UC Merced. We also have a residential desk that will help you in terms of giving you toilet paper, trash bags, all these different supplies, helping you with your mail. So at the end of the day, whenever you have a question, please stop by and ask our staff, and we'll be able to help you with whatever your question is. Now, aside from the on-campus support, we also have that residential curriculum. Now, that residential curriculum is known as our CATS pillars, where we are hoping that you build a connection, that you're aware of different things going on through the world, that you transform, so you engage in transformative learning, and that we do access service here on our campus and within the city of Merced. Now, with all that being said, the way that we do that is by having amazing events, right? So last year we hosted a pool party for people to be able to get to know each other. We went to Yosemite Lake and did a cleanup of that area. We also just had fun and did PJs and pancakes. And so these are all the amazing events that you have to look forward to while you're living on campus. And so for anyone to say there's nothing to do at UC Merced, well, my suggestion to you is just come check out one of our events. They happen almost every other day. And so whatever your interests are, whether it's drinking boba or going to cheer on our athletic teams or just meeting new people, there's going to be something here and available for you. Now, that's just our events. We also have something called our living learning communities. And so while you're living here in the residence halls, you have the opportunity to join what we call an LLC. And the LLCs are just specific programs or academic focused programs that we have within our residence halls that allow you to really connect with other people in your majors or people who have similar interests. Some of our LLCs, I'll list in a bit, really do focus on, all right, I'm here to get my degree in X, Y, and Z. How can I make sure that I'm going to succeed there? And so when you're really looking at joining an LLC, the intended outcome is that you're going to develop a sense of belonging, right? You're going to be able to connect with other people within your majors. And most importantly, that you're just going to exceed and walk across that stage because of the collaborative relationships that you built here at UC Merced. Now, when I talked about the LLCs, this is just a handful of the ones that we have. We're constantly adding more. And so on our website, you'll be able to see the full list and the full descriptions. But we have something called the Fiat Lux, which is invitation only. Then there's Afro Hall, there's the Transfer LLC, Leadership and Service. I'm not going to read all these. we also have business and entrepreneurship. Maybe you're into engineering. And so as you can see, there's a vast majority of different LLCs that you could be part of. And now in terms of joining these LLCs, when you're doing your housing application, all you have to do is indicate that you would like to join one, and then you'll submit a separate application, and then you'll be considered to join, right? So it's not immediately that you're able to join the LLCs, but I highly encourage it if you're thinking about living here on campus. Now, with those LLCs, just like you saw the resident halls, we put on all these events. We also put on even more events specifically for the LLCs. So what you'll see in this next slide is that we want people to join these LLCs again because you have all those like-minded individuals joining with you, but you're able to constantly grow into whatever it is that your interests are and help you develop into the person that you want to be. And just as you see, we have all these different events again. We have the Alumni Association panel. So we bring people in from those careers that you're looking into to be able to talk about, hey, this is my experience. We also do events such as the business dinner dining etiquette. We also just do fun things like paint and pizza night. And so again, if you're looking for something to do while you're here at UC Merced, you've just seen a handful of the things that happen, both within the residence halls and within the living learning communities. Now, if you do want more information, I know they're going to drop it in the chat, but go ahead and check our website. So it's just the housing.ucmerced.edu/LLC, and it will have a full list of descriptions of those LLCs. And also we'll have information on how you can join those LLCs when you're applying to live on campus. And then for any general questions, you can also just email us at residenceeducation@ucmerced.edu, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have there. Now, we talked about the residence halls, we talked about the LLCs, but you're probably wondering, hey, how do I actually live on campus? How do I apply? Well, that's through our housing services office. And so as a student at UC Merced or a new student at UC Merced, we actually offer a 2-year guarantee. And I'll go over the contract rates and the application process in the next slide. But with that 2-year guarantee, any incoming first-year student is guaranteed on-campus housing for their first 2 years at UC Merced for the academic year, meaning you don't have to worry about where am I going to live, right? So definitely visit our website and really read what does it look like to be part of that 2-year guarantee, because there is an eligibility component to it. But if you are eligible, you don't have to worry about living on campus, right? And then we also have our room and board, our contract rates that will be listed on our website. It will be updated in maybe a few weeks. So in November, you'll see the application go live. And at that time, we'll also have the rates and the board rates posted for you to be able to figure out, all right, do I want to live in a single, double, triple, quads? Those are all the different types of rooms that we have available on both South and North Campus. But something important to note, most of the rooms we have on campus are triples. So most students will actually be assigned to a triple room. For singles, usually those goes to those who need a accommodation of some sort. So if you are someone that needs an accommodation, I do suggest looking into our accessibility services and the accommodation process so that you'll have that ready by the time that you need to move into the residence halls as well. And earlier I was talking about our unlimited meal plan. Just as you see here, unlimited, all you care to eat meal plan, meaning you can swipe as many times. It is not a declining balance, but you'll notice there is the CAT dollar component. Now, the CAT dollar is basically allows you to eat at different places on campus that is not the dining halls. So we have 2 dining halls on campus, and I'll go over that in a second. But the CAT dollars allows you to eat at our food trucks, at the marketplace, at our snack shop. So it's basically like your own debit card that you're able to utilize here on campus and don't have to worry about carrying cash or even your own debit card. You just carry your student ID. And you have the opportunity to change your meal plan at any point. And so you just need to let us know. Now, aside from housing, there's a lot of campus services and resources available to you. The first one we're going to talk about is your CAT card, right? So I just said that CAT card that you use for your meal plan for the cat dollars, you actually use it for almost everything on campus. It is your one card ticket to anywhere. So you use it to be able to get on within the resident halls. You'll use it to be able to ride cat tracks, which is our campus transportation system, to use it in the library, your meal plan. Again, it's a really cool, easy accessibility where you're able to just have your student ID and use it everywhere, right? Now, when you're using that within our dining halls, I said we have two. Well, one of them is called the Pavilion Dining Center, which is one of our main ones on campus, and then we have another one called the YWDC. And so those are the two dining centers we have on campus that you'll be able to access and use those meal plan swipes as much as you want throughout the day. Right. And our dining centers are usually open from as early as 6 a.m. all the way until 1 a.m. Right. So if you're hungry, just go into the dining hall and swipe it, and you don't have to worry about where you're going to get your next meal. And in terms of using your cat dollars, we do have a cafe here on campus that offers Pete's Coffee, right? And so if you need that extra kick of caffeine, you're able to use your cat dollars from your meal plan and go study in the library. Or maybe you just need an extra snack, a bag of chips, you're able to use that cat card in your meal plan and swipe and get that, as well as our the food trucks that we have here on campus. And we rotate through some of our local food trucks that are within the area, and you'll be able to taste different cuisines from tacos to Asian cuisine and all these other different things that you'll have through your meal plan, or if you just want to pay for it out of pocket, right? So, and that's in terms of meals. Now, the other cool things we have, or when we're talking about meals, is the accessibility you have to the dining staff. Right. So they also put on programs, but they're also always wanting to hear feedback. So maybe it's like, hey, I really want to see this on the menu for next week. All you have to do is talk to the staff, and most likely, if they're able to do so, they'll put it on the menu for you. And so we really encourage and welcome the dialogue. We really want to interact and have our students really have that ownership when it comes to being able to, eat the food that they want to eat. Other things that we do is, again, those events. So when we're looking at holidays or just like national celebration days, it's always a good time on campus, always something to do. And it's even more fun to celebrate it with food, right? Now, when we're looking at transportation on campus, I talked about cat tracks. Now, that is our campus bus system. But if you are someone that's like, hey, I want to drive myself, well, guess what? You are able to park your car on campus if you're a resident. All you need to do, though, is apply for a parking permit and pay for it. Right. So you are able to, if you're living on campus, to have your car here on campus. If you are a commuter, though, you are able to of course, bring your car. But at the same time, you also still need a parking permit. So residents, if you're going to bring your car with you, or parents, you're going to send your kid with your car because you want them to come home every other weekend, no worries, right? They are able to park their car on campus, but you have to make sure to get that parking permit. Now, let's say you don't have a car, or you just don't want to drive around because gas is expensive. No worries. You have Cat Tracks. That is a free service. It's a free shuttle service that you have access to using your cat card, right? And so you'll be able to use that bus system to go to all the different places within Merced, whether you're going to the shop, the grocery plaza, maybe you need to go to the doctor's office, or you just want to go walk downtown. It also has a direct stop to Amtrak. So you'll be able to really utilize it to get your way around Merced area. Aside from that, we also have the Merced bus. It's called the bus here in Merced. That also has a stop here that can also take you to additional bus stops throughout Merced. We also have an Amtrak here in Merced that you'll be able to utilize with a discount, by the way. And so you'll be able to use Amtrak to go up and down California or throughout the US as you need. One other really cool thing, we do have our own regional airport. And so if you're coming from Los Angeles, you can fly out of Hawthorne and come straight into Merced. It also will take you to Las Vegas. So parents, if your student's going to Las Vegas, they flew Advance Air, right? Aside from that, there's also these other services that we have here on campus. We have Zipcar, where you could basically rent a temporary car, and it has everything included from the gas, maintenance, insurance. It's a mobile app. You'll be able to download that as long as you have an active license. Everything's covered by the Zip car, and you'll be able to rent that car for the day or even just a few hours, right? Aside from that, there's also additional bus services. Lyft and is here in town. So you do have a way to get around campus as you need, right? Maybe you need to do a quick grocery run. You can use any of these services as well. Now, aside from all of that, there's so many great things here in Merced, but when you're really looking at living on campus, it just comes down to joining the Bobcat community and really being able to interact with one another. Ricky, that is all I have today. Are we going to transition over to Q&A?
Yes, we absolutely will do that. Thank you so much for that fantastic presentation, Ange. So much good information. So let's go ahead and dive in. And just a reminder to everyone who's on with us, if you do have questions tonight, go ahead and click that Q&A button, send those on over to us, and we will start getting to those right now. Let's see, the first one that I have coming in here, are students required to live on campus, or is it just an option?
I love that question. So students are not required to live on campus. We do not have that requirement, but we always encourage students to do so. What I've found is that it's actually easier to live on campus as well as it's more accessible. There are great options to living around the area, but if you're not local, I do suggest choosing to live on campus because it is right here, and then you have all those amenities that we just talked about.
And there are so many great amenities. So I'm glad that you listed a lot of those tonight. And I know that in some of our other events, I've always heard us talk about this in housing events specifically. How does it help students academically when they choose to live on campus versus off campus?
Yeah. So when you're looking about it in the academic sense, right? So we'll use the living learning communities as one of the prime examples. The living learning communities is directly connected to an academic program. So if we're looking at professional engineering, if you're an engineering member and or major and you're in that LLC, then you have direct access to a faculty member who's, teaching some of those classes and being able to work through some of the issues or problems that you may be having. You also have access to other people within that major. So if you're looking into taking a class, or maybe you're currently taking a class and you're like, hey, I don't understand X, Y, and Z, you have that direct access to someone within your major or within your class. Same thing goes in general when you're living in the residence halls. Your neighbors are your classmates, right? And so when it comes to doing study groups or being able to just ask someone a question, instead of sending an email or a message and having to wait, you literally just go to your neighbor's door, knock on their door and say, hey, are you working on your homework? Me too. Can we work on it together? And that can, one, increase your success as an academic student. Also, just being on campus, I said it before, it's that direct access. So you're able to be able to walk out of your room, out of your residential building. Sometimes it is literally right across the way, some of the classrooms, or just a few buildings down, and be able to go to your professor's office hours, have them answer your questions, and then walk right back to your room and continue doing whatever it is you need to do. So it really just comes down to the accessibility to the faculty and staff, but also being able to really work and collaborate with your classmates who live within the same residence halls as you.
Excellent. And the next question, will there be a kitchen where students can cook? Is there a community kitchen in some of our buildings?
Yes, so in North Campus, almost all buildings have a community kitchen. It is shared within the community. And then on South Campus, there is one community kitchen. Now, because we have an unlimited meal plan, a lot of times the kitchens actually don't get used because you are able to swipe for meals whenever you want. But for those who maybe have dietary restrictions or just wants to, cook up something, you are able to go into the kitchens at any time and just cook up a meal.
Perfect. And then can you mention some of the closest supermarkets that are nearby campus? And I know you also talked about the bus system that we have, Cat Tracks.
So closest one to campus, I believe, is Rayleigh's and Sprouts. So we do have two of our major markets. Throughout Merced, there's also, and I'm just going to list a few that I can remember. There's like Food Max, Grocery Outlet. There's also local markets. So Lee's Community Market is a great one if you're into Asian cuisines or need some veggies. Cardenas is also near campus. And when you're looking at cat tracks, it actually stops at a lot of those different places. So Rayleigh's and Sprouts, that is one of the stops that it has. It also has the stops near the other ones. So it also stops at Target, at Walmart. So all the major retailers, but then also those other ones I was talking about, it also stops near there. And so when it really comes to those accessibilities and using cat tracks, I've seen students hop onto the bus, say they're gonna go get groceries, and then come back with some bags and carrying some water. Usually students make it a trip together, and so they get to explore the city while also getting the things that they need and bringing it back to the residence halls.
Absolutely. And sometimes, if you just need an activity for the evening, you jump on the bus, you go down to Target, get yourself to Starbucks and just cruise some dollar aisles, right? You just have a nice little outing, getting to make some new friends. So there's always something to do in Merced. All right. The next question we have coming in is about the meal plan. So is there a set dollar amount? You did talk about the cat dollars a little bit, and it's the all you care to eat unlimited swipes, but is there a set dollar amount that they should expect to pay?
Yes, so in terms of the rates for next year, it has not been posted yet. So I don't know the exact number. It will be posted in November when the housing application comes out. So what I would suggest doing is for the exact number, definitely check our housing website sometime in November. You should also get an email notification once you've decided to go to UC Merced, and we give you all that info during that time. But if you wanted to do your homework beforehand, it should be posted in November. It ranges, and this is a rough estimate, it can range from $1,000 to a couple $1,000 depending on the meal plan that you select. One really important thing to remember though, when you're selecting that meal plan, it's an unlimited meal plan. So when you're looking at the difference in prices, what you're looking at is the difference of the cat dollars that you're starting out with. You can always add more cat dollars throughout the year or at any time. But the cat dollars is just the starting amount. And I think it's as low as 80 and it can go all the way up to, I think, a couple $100s. Right. So that's really the difference in the prices is just how much cat dollars you're starting off with in the academic year. And so in terms of the actual meal plan, though, whichever one you select, you will always have the unlimited swipes to any of our resident dining centers.
Excellent. And then if someone's going into, let's say, for instance, the major of computer science, would they be eligible to then live within the engineering LLC? What's the criteria?
Yeah, so they definitely are. It's just really about indicating that you would like to live in that within your housing application. And then the coordinator for that LLC would reach out to you, and then we'll let you know if you've basically been accepted into that LLC, right? We only have limited spots. So with our LLCs, it can range from 30 to 100 spots depending on the LLC. And so that's why it's really important for you to indicate that in your application. And then if you're able to do so, you'll be able to join that LLC.
Perfect. And I was just reminded behind the scenes, it's important that we mention when you shop at Rayleigh's, if you use your cat card, you get a 10% discount. So that's just like free money. And that also works for staff. So if you're a staff member on this event with me, just show them your cat card because we have cat cards too. It's our ID to get us in and out of places too. So all you have to do is at the checkout, show them your cat card and they're more than happy to give you that 10%. So that is an important perk that you get there. So thanks for the reminder from our friends behind the scenes. Okay, so our next question, what do the rates look like between the single, double, triple, and quad rooms? And you mentioned, I think, a little bit of this too. For a single, there's different requirements, but can we talk a bit about the differences there?
Yeah, so in terms of the rates, again, it will be posted in November. But when we're just thinking about what is the cheapest rate to the most expensive rate. Quad is going to be the cheapest. Next would be the triples, then the doubles, and then the singles. What the exact number is, unfortunately, I do not know it off the top of my head. If you do go to our website right now, it will show you what is our current rates. And so do expect a little increase, not that much, but a little increase, and that would give you the general gist of what the rates would look like for next year.
Great. And then do we allow any type of pet on campus?
So we do not allow pets, but we do allow service animals and emotional support animals. Those animals do have to be registered within our accessibility service office. Once you go through that accommodation process and it's been approved, which you can do before you move in, then you are definitely able to have your animal with you. But in terms of just normal pets, unfortunately, we do not permit them on campus.
And then also kind of going back to the different types of rooms and what the rules and criteria are, do we have any type of rule for curfew in our residence halls or a time when everyone has to have their lights out?
Yeah, I always love that question. Part of me wishes the answer was yes, but the answer is no, right? So we do not have any curfew, but what we do have is called quiet hours, right? So we do have specific times during the week and during the weekend in which we ask each other to be mindful of our noise. And so that's where the RAs would come into play. Let's say it's 1 o'clock a.m. on a Thursday. We do want to be mindful that we live in a community and maybe some people have practice or an exam. So we do ask each other to be mindful of the noise. In terms of that, we also have what we call 24/7 courtesy hours, right? So yes, we have a set time in which we ask everyone to be mindful of the noise, so our quiet hours, but you never know what someone's schedule looks like, right? Someone could have worked at 1 a.m. and then, don't have class until 2 p.m. And so they're sleeping from 9 a.m. to noon, right? So that's where the courtesy hours come into play. And again, just being really part of the community and being mindful of each other.
And then how are roommates selected? Are you able to choose your own roommate or are you paired up randomly? Is it based on major?
So, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to talk about that. Roommates. So one of the amazing things that we have here at UC Merced, if you complete your housing application within the priority deadline period, you actually are able to select where you live and who your roommates are. So you're able to participate in what we call the room selection process, where again, you'll be able to choose exactly which room you're going to go in, as well as go through profiles. Maybe you're coming here with someone, you can say, hey, let's team up and live together. You're able to actually select that within the room selection process and pick who you live with. And that is for anyone that decides to live here on campus and complete it within the priority deadline. After that, so for anything after the priority deadline, you may not be able to select your room. I believe our housing office is trying to figure out what is the best thing that we can do. But depending on the time that you apply, sometimes we do have to place you for you. We do look at your preferences. So when you fill out your housing application, you'll put specific things that you prefer, and we try to match you up as best as possible. But again, if you do the priority deadline, you'll be able to choose where you live and who you live with.
Excellent. And now we have a question coming in asking if we also offer any type of family housing or if couples are able to be housed together, or is it just strictly for students?
Yes. So we do not have family housing at this time. We are continuing to grow our residence halls, but right now we do not have family housing. In terms of couples living together, as long as the other person is a UC Merced student, we actually have something that we call gender inclusive housing, which would allow couples, married couples, or anyone to be able to live together. In addition to that, and I know that's not part of the question, when I'm talking about gender inclusive housing, basically you're able to live with someone that is of the opposite sex or does not identify as a specific gender. And more information about that is on our website, but that is an option that we do have available for residents to select.
Very good. You just reminded me, this question comes up sometimes in other housing events as well. So I'll go ahead and just add on to that, what you had just mentioned. Can we talk about how the housing and the residence halls are set up in terms of bathrooms? I know we have some that are community style and some that are gender neutral. Can you touch on that?
Definitely. So most of our resident halls have community style restrooms that are gender specific. So when you're looking at the community style restrooms, there is a part of the restrooms that have multiple bathroom stalls. Then there's the sinks area where you could brush your teeth. And then there is the separate area for our shower stalls. And our shower stalls do have a door that goes from top to bottom so that you do have your privacy. Within those community share or community bathrooms, there's also lockers. Those aren't assigned to anyone, but when you're taking a shower, you're able to use that locker at that time. You could put a lock on it if you need to. And then once you're done showering, you would just take your belongings with you. You could always take it into the shower stall as well, but that's the community style restrooms. Some resident halls have what we call the suites, so where it's two rooms connected by a bathroom, and so in the middle it would only be those two rooms sharing a bathroom. And then our valley terraces, those are also suite style, but it is a set amount of rooms that will share a bathroom. So it could be about 2 to 4 different rooms that would share one bathroom. And those are private bathrooms that would be cleaned and maintained by the residents who live there. The community bathrooms are cleaned and maintained by our staff. We do also have gender neutral bathrooms on every single floor within South Campus, and then on most floors within North Campus that don't have the suite styled restrooms. And so that is also accessible and available to students to use as well. The gender neutral bathrooms have the toilet aspects, the sink, and then also a shower stall that is available for use.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Ange, for taking the time to explain that. These are important questions that maybe sometimes people don't think about, but when you leave the comforts of home and some of those things that you maybe don't even think twice about, like using the restroom and taking a shower and what that involves. So I think that's an important one to touch on. So thank you for taking that time. The next question we have coming in has to do with the resident advisor. So do you have to be in a certain grade level to apply for an RA position?
Yeah, so we do the applications the year prior, right? So unfortunately, first year students, you wouldn't be able to apply to be an RA because we do the application period the year prior. But for second years, third years, fourth years, even graduate students, anyone who's eligible, you're able to apply. Our criteria is that you are in good academic standing, so a minimum of 2.5 GPA, as well as judicial standing, meaning that we haven't had any conduct violations or that we're just in good standing with the university. As long as you meet those two requirements, you're able to apply. It's a really fun application process. So when you're here on campus, it opens up in January, and you should know by April if you're going to be an RA. Which
Very
you also do get your room and board covered. So that's an incentive to be able to be an RA and also just be able to give back to the community that you live in.
Absolutely. That's a very important piece of that. And can we talk about the gym that we have available?
Yeah, so we have an amazing athletic center. I see people working out all the time. And so it's, I believe, part of your student fees. And so the gym, they have their hours posted, but you'll be able to go in and access it as long as they're open at any time.
And then going back to the meal plan and the dining centers that we do offer, do we have vegetarian friendly type meals, vegan meals on our menu?
Yeah, definitely. So the pavilion is going to be where most of those meals are housed, but we have 4 different stations. So one is each station will usually have a vegan or vegetarian option. We also have our salad bar, our soup bar, and then our sandwich bar. And so there's always going to be something available for you to eat. Now, if you do have more dietary restrictions, all you would do is contact the dining staff and they'll make sure that there's something available for you to eat. Or if we need to work out an accommodation, that is also something that they'll be willing and able to do with you.
Perfect. And now going back to the gym, do we have a swimming pool either attached to our gym or available on campus?
We do. We have an amazing aquatic center that is open for use. Again, I believe it's included within your student fees, and so you'll be able to access that pool when it's open hours and go for a swim.
And then also going back to the housing area, we're kind of jumping around here in different topics as questions come in. Our first year students, are they eligible to live in any type of suite type residence hall, or are they strictly set to the double, triple, quad situations?
Yeah, so the suite style is the way that the suites work, it's usually a double or triple room that's connected with another double or triple room, right? So it's not a single connected with another single. Usually it's a double or triple room connected with another double, triple room with the bathroom in between. Those are available. And so long as you're within the priority period and no one else has picked that room yet, you would be able to select it if it's available at that time.
Very good. And then who's eligible to live on campus? Is there anyone who can't live here?
Long as you're a UC Merced student, you are able to live on campus.
Very good. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have coming in? Oh, some safety concerns. Can we talk about our blue lights and the fact that we have a university police department?
Yeah. So I talked a lot about our residential staff. So we have our live-in staff who's trained to do after hours crisis. But we also have three different type of safety officers on our campus. So we have our public safety ambassadors, which are actually student leaders, who are trained to be able to do safety escorts or, help transport people using our golf carts. So that's something that we have. After that, we have our campus safety staff members. So those really serve as our security who go around campus to make sure everyone's safe, or if anyone needs help, they're able to provide that. And then next, after that, we have our UCMPD, so our University Police Department, that are here on campus. They walk around, they also drive around. You'll see them at events, you'll see them playing games at events as well. So when it comes to safety and security, they are right here. Now, we also have other amenities on campus, which Ricky just mentioned, our blue light system. And so when you're walking throughout campus, you'll notice these blue poles with a light on top. And all you have to do if you need help or maybe you have a question, you just press it. One of our dispatchers is able to connect with you immediately, and you'll be able to talk with them. On top of that, we also have what we call the Rave app. And so we always encourage students when they're moving on to campus to install that app. It's really cool. You're able to the same with the blue light, actually just text. You could go through the directory and call UCMPD or the safety escorts through that app. It also allows you, I know like with Lyft and other apps, you can do the safety feature of like, I'm walking, if I don't press this button within a certain amount of time, find my location. And so we also have that app through UCMPD available for our students. So there's multiple layers of security when we're looking at it professionally. Within the residence halls, we have our RAs, we have the resident education coordinators, we have myself. I know I may not look like a security guard, but I care about our students' well-being and I would be there in a heartbeat for any student that needs us.
Absolutely. We definitely have a family feel on our campus. So that goes, I think, across the board. We all would just be there and do whatever we possibly could to help out our students if they're in distress. All right, we still have some more time, everybody. So if you are still on with us here and you have some questions, don't forget to click on that Q&A button and send those in to us here. I keep seeing a few more come in and I have a couple of more here on my list to go ahead and ask, but I want to make sure that we get to everyone tonight. So go ahead and get those sent in for us. The next question, I'm not sure how pertinent it is at this stage, since we're still at the early stage with the admission application being open and not really close to the move-in time for this population, but what types of things are students either allowed to bring or not to bring when they do live on campus? I think there might be some surprises in some of the things they can't bring.
Yeah, we have a full list on our website of what to bring and what not to bring. I'm going to focus on the what not to bring. So I know we talked about pets, unless they're an ESA or service animal and registered with our department. So please don't don't bring your pet snake unless it's registered, right? But I misspoke a little bit. In terms of pets, you are able to bring a fish, long as it's in a 10-gallon tank or smaller. So if you want to bring your pet fish, you could, but I would always suggest talking with your roommates to make sure you have enough space and all that good stuff. Other things that you would not be able to bring is cooking appliances, right? So Instapots, what's it called? Toaster ovens, air fryers. Yes, we have kitchens on campus, but those are not permitted within the residential rooms. So they cannot be stored within the rooms at all. You can have a single serve coffee maker, so like a Keurig or an espresso. That is something you can have. But unfortunately, like rice cookers, just kitchen appliances in general, is not permitted within the residence halls unless it's a single serve Keurig. You are able to have a mini fridge and a microwave. So for each room, you're able to have one microwave per room. For mini fridges, you're able to have one mini fridge for every two residents, which doesn't do math well. If you're in a triple, you're able to have two fridges, right? So if you're in a double, one fridge. If you're in a triple or a quad, you're able to have two mini fridges. And you would coordinate with your roommates who would bring what. It is going to be a shared appliance within the room. Other things you should bring are our beds are twin XL. So when you're shopping for your bedding or your sheets and pillows, the bed itself is a twin XL. So when you go to Target and you're doing your thing, just make sure you pick up the twin XL. Let's see, what other important things should you bring? Definitely your shower amenities, clothes, right? Please bring some clothes. And alarm clocks, just all the things that you would use on a day-to-day basis. Things not to bring, we do have the lists, but usually it's stuff that you wouldn't typically have within a residence halls.
Very good. Now, jumping over to financial aid, kind of in a general sense, does financial aid help our Bobcats pay for their housing and meal plans?
Yeah, so in terms of financial aid, I always suggest speaking with your with when someone from financial aid. It will always depend on what scholarships and what your package looks like, right? So what the way that billing works in terms of housing and the meal plan is whichever one you pick. So let's say you have a double and you have a meal plan, whatever rate that is gets billed to your student account. And then your financial aid will apply to whatever is in your student account. So that's where it's really important to talk to a financial aid counselor so they can help figure out, all right, here's your total costs. This is how much you're getting in scholarships, aid, grants, all those different things. And this is what the remaining cost is. And that's all done through your student account. So it does get billed to your student account. It's not billed separately. And the same way that you would pay your student account for your tuition and other things, it would be included within that.
Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and drop over into our chat box. It's just a reminder to everyone, if you haven't yet opened the chat, go ahead and do that now. We have been sending you some great links over there. And I just now dropped in myself the information for our Students First Center. Now, if you haven't heard of the Students First Center, we also call them the SFC for short. They are the one-stop shop on the UC Merced campus. It is an amazing place to go, and we all work with them constantly. They have representatives available to refer you to. So in financial aid, for example, what Andrew's just talking about, we have financial aid experts that they can refer you back to. There's people from admissions, the registrar that they represent, but everyone in the Student First Center or the SFC, everyone there is cross-trained to be able to answer all of these types of questions for you. And really the main point of that is just to save you so that you don't have to go to 15 different offices on campus and have to walk a long ways, or even before you're here, you don't have to call more than one number. So go ahead and hop into the chat. I have included the phone number there, all of their hours. It's a pretty lengthy little copy paste I gave you, but you can also just click on that link and it will take you straight to their website. They also have virtual hours where they have people available for virtual appointments. So that might be the perfect opportunity for you if you're not currently in the local area. But just that is going to be a number that you do want to keep a hold of pretty much the entire time that you're a UC Merced student, because that's also where you go if you have billing questions. They're close by the cashiering windows there. If you have any issues with registering for classes, if you need overrides, they really are the one-stop shop, and they couldn't be more friendly. So it is a great place to get acquainted with. Let's go ahead and see here. We have other questions coming in. Let's see what we have. Oh, do we have to room in a dorm with students who are the same year as us? Or if maybe they have a friend that's a little bit older or younger, can they room with them?
Yeah, you can room with whoever you want. So long as you complete it by that priority deadline, you're able to pick who you live with. We don't have any age restrictions. A first year could live maybe with their older sibling who is a senior, right? So that is something that is available. Maybe you have a friend that came here and is currently a second year, you're able to live with them as well. And so there's no restrictions on like first years have to live with first years or second years have to live with second years. You can live with whoever you want. And we actually encourage for people to get to know each other. That's what living on campus is all about, is about building a community. And here at UC Merced, we have our Bobcat community where it's just all about helping each other.
Very good. I know during the presentation as well, we talked about transportation options that we have, but what is the rule for students to be able to bring a car to campus and to actually park there, especially if they're living in one of the residence halls?
Yeah, so if you live on campus, you are able to bring your car. You just have to make sure to apply for a parking permit. You do have to pay, depending on which type of permit you select. That will be found on the Transportation and Parking Service website. But as long as you apply and get a parking permit, you'll be able to park your car on campus without a problem.
Very good. And let's go ahead and touch on the same subject here. What types of public transportation do we have? We did talk about the bus system, but what if someone doesn't live in the area and they don't have a car? What type of options may they want to look into for traveling back home, let's say for the holiday breaks?
Yeah, so if they don't have a car and they need to get around Merced or travel back home, we do have Amtrak, right? So Amtrak goes up and down California, also goes to different parts of the United States. We have Air Advance, which was the our regional that will take you down to Los Angeles and to Las Vegas. We also have different public transportations, right? So let's say I actually used I forgot the name of the bus, but like Megabus, right? They have stops in Merced. So there's a lot of different types of public transportations that you would be able to use to get to where it is that you need to go. Um, Greyhound goes through here. I just found out that I could Greyhound and Amtrak from here to Santa Cruz and visit my mom. So that's something that I'm going to definitely utilize as well. So when it comes to public transportation, there is no shortage here. There is still also Uber and Lyft. So if you're someone that does like to Uber or Lyft around, that is an option that you're able to use as well. And again, we also have Zipcar. So you could rent your own car for a few hours or a day. Everything's included, the gas, the insurance, the maintenance for it. So that's stuff that you wouldn't have to worry about paying extra for, and you can just use that car when you need it. And last but not least, we talked about the Cat Tracks, which is a free service, again, that you'll be able to use.
Yes, and don't forget also the other way around. Let's say you're on campus and you are just craving a meal from Chipotle. We have DoorDash available. It doesn't necessarily go through the UC, but I know when I've been at work, sometimes I didn't pack a lunch and I can just go on my trusty phone, order something from DoorDash, and they bring it right to me. So that's also an option in case you would like something like that, but you don't actually want to go out of the comfort of your residence hall. All right, so I do want to make sure that I mention a couple of things here. One of them, I'm going to drop this link over into the chat box for everyone as well. That is also an important link to bookmark because just like this event tonight, we have many others that are coming up in the next couple of months. We want to make sure that you take some time to get registered so that you can join us here again for another virtual event. And also it's important to note that this event tonight is being recorded like all of the rest, and that is the same website that you will find the link to the on-demand instant replay in just a couple of days after each of our events are completed. So make sure that you do save that page. As you get closer to, I would say maybe 6 months from now, we have the next virtual series that is launching. We will then at that point, you'll see another website that has additional events coming up. But for the next, I would say between now and the middle of December, that events website through the admissions page will be the one-stop shop for you to find out all of those registration links, as well as those replay links. All right, we have a few more questions here. When students are paying for their housing, do they pay for the entire year?
So the way we break down billing here at UC Merced is on a semester basis, right? So for housing, you'll get billed for the entire semester, and that will get billed to your student account. And just kind of like we shared earlier, whatever is on your student account, whatever financial aid comes in, whatever is the remaining balance is what you would pay out of pocket. But we do bill on a semester basis. If you're here, you do also have the opportunity, maybe you're taking a summer class or you're needing to stay here for winter break, you would apply for summer housing or winter break housing, and that would be a separate cost. So we do bill per semester, but just know that winter break and summer housing is a separate cost, but you are able to live on campus year round.
Great. And then in the residence halls, do we give them any type of option for printing needs if they need to print a paper for class?
So in terms of printing, we do have a few printers throughout the residence halls, a few computer labs as well. But most of the time students do go to our library. There's multiple printers available there, and you would just use your CAT card to be able to pay for the printing.
Great. And then I know we've spoken this entire hour about on-campus housing. What about off-campus housing? If someone just maybe isn't interested in doing the on-campus life, do we help them or do we have any resources for them for off-campus options?
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to making sure that our students are able to just be here at UC Merced, we want to make sure that there's all the resources available. So if you actually go onto our housing website, one of the tabs that you'll see is for off-campus resources. There's a profile that you can set up for yourself, so you can be able to navigate what are the different open houses that are available for rent, the different apartments that are also available, as well as maybe you need a roommate to stay in one of those places. You can also build a profile just like we do for our residential communities. You're able to also build a profile to find someone to live with off campus as well. So that is also done through our housing office. So check out our website, see that resource. But if you have any questions, just reach out to housing services and they'll be more than happy to help you navigate that.
Very good. And so we also just want to give you guys one last reminder. If you do have a question that we haven't gotten to yet tonight, I think we've reached everyone, but if there's something that just now is popping into your head, go ahead and click the Q&A button, rush and get that question over to us, and we will get that answered before we do close out here. But there are also a couple of other things I want to make sure that I do remind everyone of. The fall 2025 admission application is open. So we want to make sure that if you are considering becoming a Bobcat and becoming a part of the UC Merced family for next fall, now is your chance to go ahead and open up that application, start to peruse that a little bit, maybe write some drafts of your personal insight question responses. Give yourself plenty of time to really be prepared to put your best foot forward and best represent yourself on that admission application. We use that to get to know who you are and to make sure that you are a perfect fit for our campus, just as we would be a perfect fit for you and for your academic endeavors and adventures that you have in mind for yourself in the future. So that application, again, it's open now. The deadline to submit for that filing period is December 2nd, and that is specifically at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. Now, don't do like I would and put things off because it's so easy to do. We feel like, oh my gosh, it's only October. We have so much time. But let me tell you, friend, the time is flying by, and it is always better to start things early. Even if all you do this evening is open up that application website and you just start to take a peek at what to expect. Start taking some notes about maybe what some of these questions are and which of the 8 personal insight questions that you would like to respond to, because you do need to respond to 4. And you just, take some time and get a feel for that. Now, also mentioning the personal insight questions, or PIQs, you will definitely start hearing us use that term in the shortened version. We have additional webinars that are coming up. One of them is specifically focused on the PIQs. We want to spend the full hour with you during that event to really help you hone in your writing and what topics you might want to consider writing about, and kind of just all the tips and tricks on making sure that you best utilize your 350 word count for those PIQ questions. So again, I mentioned that event's website. It is in the chat box. That PIQ event is listed there, as well as several others. We will have something that will touch on financial aid. There will be others about other portions of that application. Just coming up next week, we have one that is going to dive into all of the new majors that we're offering at UC Merced. So being a part of one of the newest, or the newest, UC campus means that we are constantly growing. We are constantly expanding, not only in construction and new residence halls, but also new majors. We are on the cutting edge of innovation, and we want to make sure that we get all of that new information to you so that you know exactly what types of opportunities that you have here that lie await for you here at UC Merced before you become a Bobcat. So once again, I highly encourage you to hop on over to that events page, take a look there, get signed up for some of those other events that are coming up. Another one that's happening next week, when we talk about these upcoming majors and new things that are coming, we have electrical engineering. We have a specific webinar focused just on that with our Professor Kurtz, and she will be here, and she is an amazing human being. You will learn so much from her just in that event, and I know for a fact you will be inspired to want to become an engineer. Every time I listen to her speak, I become inspired, and then I realize engineering is not probably something I personally would be good at. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking to everybody. This is what I'm good at. But I promise you, you will be inspired when you come to some of these events. So please make sure that you go ahead and do that. One other thing I do want to mention, and then Angela, I'll give you a second if you'd like to give some last words. I want to drop over in chat the link for taking a campus tour. So if you haven't yet made the trek to Merced, to the city here, please do that and take advantage of your time here by doing a campus tour. There's nothing like stepping foot on our beautiful grounds to actually just kind of absorb everything. Just take a look and let everything kind of hit you at once that this is where you could be living. This is where you could be studying. So take a moment to click on that link, get yourself signed up. We also offer virtual tours. So that's another opportunity in case you won't be making it to the Central Valley here in California. I think that's everything for me and all my long list of reminders. So Ange, I'll give you a second to offer your last words tonight.
Awesome. No, I just want to thank everyone for logging on and for being here and asking the questions. If you do have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to resident education at ucmerced.edu, and I'll be happy to answer them for you as well. And regardless of whether you choose to live on campus or off, what's most important is that you join our Bobcat community, where I know that you'll have a great time.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us tonight, everyone behind the scenes that has been getting to some of those questions for us as well and feeding those to me so I knew which ones were important to ask tonight. And of course, to my friend Ange for doing a wonderful job tonight, hosting and presenting tonight with me. I really appreciate your time as well. We hope that we got to all of your questions and that you may have learned something new tonight. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And of course, join us on another virtual event. We would love to see your name pop up again in our guest list. Once again, my name is Ricky Hill, and I am your e-recruiter. These are so much fun to do with you, and it's been a pleasure being here with you tonight. We hope to see you again very soon, either virtually or hopefully sometime in person on campus at a campus tour. Thank you so much, and have a great night, everyone.